the papers for your listening pleasure. I am Inioluwa Adekoya, making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, welcome back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our headlines this morning from the Hope newspaper, Ondo government steps up anti-child labor fight with skills center. We are still taking headlines from the Hope newspaper and now moving to Osun State Group urges peaceful, credible Osun governorship poll warns against violence. And now moving on, Tinubu orders EFCC to leave freeze on Osun account ahead Guba poll. Yeah, still on the Hope newspaper and back to Ondo State, vacate highways now. FRSC tells roadside traders in Ondo. Yeah, still on the Hope newspaper, Tinubu flags off 216.6 billion naira Osogbo Iwo Ibadan Gbongan Osogbo road project. Yeah, still on the Hope newspaper, still talking and now talking the PFIPC probe. ICPC exposes 2 more fake agencies moved to prosecute suspects. Yes, and now moving to the Daily Post newspaper, truth will surely come out. Wrong person in prison, says Simon Ekpa. And now moving to Lagos State, Nigerian government pledges stronger support for Lagos to tackle flooding. Yeah, still talking Osun State. President Tinubu has no power to direct EFCC, lawyer Madwa Buchi says. And now still on the Daily Post newspaper, police prepare officers for state police as IGB backs reform process. Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Governor Bala Mohammed reshuffles Bauchi cabinet, appoints 4 new commissioners. Yeah, still talking ICPC, PFIPC. ICPC submits interim report on controversial PFIPC to Tinubu. And now straight to the Punch newspaper. Oshun account freeze. EFCC boss faces public fury as Tinubu reverses order. Yes, IG deploys new CPs to 8 states, other police formations, and that is on the Punch newspaper. Yes, and with that, I will go on another short break. When I get back, I'll dish out to you the headlines and more news making rounds in the papers this morning. The program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM, and I will be right back. Yes, welcome back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers and iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning, from the Sunshine State, Ondo government steps up anti-child labour fight with skills centre. And now to the details. The Ondo State government has reinforced its campaign against child labour with inauguration of the renovated Padi Vocational Skill Training Centre in Fagwo Padi Community, Ondo East Local Government Area. The facility was refurbished by Safe and Children International under the Future for Every Child FUFEC project, funded by the Ashi Company in partnership with Ondo State Government and Ondo East Local Government to expand vocational training and livelihood opportunities for residents. Speaking at the ceremony, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Dr. Sheon Bosade of Samai, said the initiative complemented Governor Lucky Orimison Ayedatiwa's commitment to strategic partnership that promote human capital development, protect children, and improve the socio-economic well-being of vulnerable communities. She declared that child labor would become a thing of the past in cacao-producing communities across the state, noting that the transformation of the once abandoned but fully equipped facility into a functional vocational center demonstrated the gains of collaboration between government and development partners. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Ondo government steps up anti-child labor fight with skill center. Yes, so now moving to Osun State on the Old newspaper, Tinubu orders EFCC to leave freeze on Osun account ahead Guba poll. And now to the details. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to immediately approach the court to vacate the order freezing the bank account of the Osun State government, describing the timing of the action as inappropriate and capable of undermining public confidence in the forthcoming governorship election. The president although he remains committed to the operational independence of the anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies, the decision to freeze the state account just days before the election could create impression that the federal institution were being deployed to influence the electoral process. In a statement released recently, Tinubu said he became aware that the EFCC had secured a court order on the 5th of August 2026 freezing the account of the Osun State government. He stressed that while the EFCC acted within a statutory mandate by obtaining a court order, he was deeply embarrassed by the timing of the action, noting that every decision taken by the federal institution is ultimately attributed to the presidency. The president reaffirmed his long-standing policy of anti-corruption agencies and other law enforcement institutions to operate independently, professionally, and without political interference. Tinubu explained that he had deliberately refrained from interfering in the operational activities of the EFCC and other investigative agencies because he believes that strong democratic institutions operating within the rule of law are essential to good governance. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Oak newspaper with the headline, Tinubu orders EFCC to lift freeze on Osun accounts ahead Guba poll. Now back to Ondo State on the Old newspaper. Vacate highways now. FRSC tells roadside traders in Ondo. And now to the details. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has warned traders against carrying out commercial activities along highways and other busy roads, describing the practice as a major safety hazard that endangers both the traders and other road users. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, in Ondo State, Dr. Samuel Ibitoye, gave the warning in an interview with newsmen in Akura. Ibitoye advised petty traders and other roadside vendors to vacate the highways and relocate to designated stores, warning them against displaying goods on the road or pedestrian walkways. He further stressed that walkways are provided exclusively for pedestrians to move safely without interference from vehicular traffic, adding that using them on the road for trading creates unnecessary risk and endangers lives. He explained that roadside trading often leaves traders vulnerable during accidents and advised them to relocate their businesses to designated market spaces to safeguard their lives and reduce the risk of preventable road crashes. He further warned that displaying goods on roadside poses security safety risk, and specifically urged traders along the Oja, Oba and Shasha market to stop selling on the road, stressing that it is better to earn a little profit in a safe environment than to risk losing one's life in a bid to earn more. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Oak newspaper with the headline, Vacate Highways Now, FRSC tells roadside traders in Ondo. Yes, so now I took a flight to the Punch newspaper talking fake agency probe. ICPC reports class presidency, indict embattled DG. And now to the details. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has cleared the presidency of any wrongdoings in the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council saga, while recommending the prosecution of the council promoter, Inioluwa Adekoya. President Bola Tinubu received the Commission's interim investigations report on Thursday at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. This is as Adekoya on Thursday declined to answer questions from members of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the establishment of the council following the absence of his lawyers and his opposition to a closed-door interrogation adopted by the committee. Briefing State House correspondents after presenting the report, ICPC Chairman Musa Adamu SAN said the investigation established that Adekoya was never appointed by the federal government and that the PFIPC also referred to in some document as a Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council was never created by any law, executive order, or valid government instrument. According to him, investigators also uncovered two additional fictitious agencies allegedly created by Adekoya using forged legislative instruments. The FCT Investment Promotion Agency and the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency public-private partnership, which were allegedly used to open bank accounts and conduct unauthorized activities. Adamu further disclosed that Adeyemi unlawfully took over the office of the defunct Presidential Economic Advisory Council after gaining unauthorized access to the facility and used the location to project legitimacy for the fake agency before visitors, government officials, and foreign diplomats. He said the investigation found that no federal government fund were approved or dispatched to the fake agency, and there was no security breach within the presidency or the central bank. He, however, said the investigation exposed institutional weakness in the verification processes, interagency coordination, and oversight across several ministries, departments, and agencies, including the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the Budget Office, and the National Information Technology Development Agency. It said the Commission recommended the prosecution of Adeyemi administrative sanctions against public officers whose act of omission facilitated the operation of the fake agency and the institutional reforms to strengthen internal controls across the affected NDAs. According to him, the report submitted to the President is interim with criminal investigation continuing to identify any collaborators and obtain additional evidence before charges are filed. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Fake Agency Probe, ICPC Report Class Presidency, Indict Embattled DG. Still on the Punch newspaper, IG deploys new CPs to 8 state other police formations. And now to the details. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has approved the deployment of commissioners of police to 8 state commands and several strategic formations across the country. The deployment, announced in a statement on Thursday by the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP, Inioluwa, followed the approval of Police Service Commission and is aimed at strengthening the operational effectiveness, enhancing leadership across commands, and consolidating ongoing police reforms. According to the statement, the newly deployed Commissioner of Police for State Command are Afolabi Wilfred Olutokunbo Abia, Ayodeji Faninyo Plateau, Saka Adewale Ajao Bayelsa, Ajo Geoffrey Odue Cross River, Nana Oji Ama Anambra, Patrick Dao Edo, Tani Murtala Jigawa, and Samuel Erali from Delta State. The IGP also approved the deployment of several commissioners to strategic formations, including the Force Intelligence Department, the Force Criminal Investigation Department, Department of Finance and Administration, Department of Training and Development, Police Academy, and the Police Staff College. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, IG deploys new CPs to 8 states and other police formations. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, court remands ex-DSS officer in Kuje prison over terrorism charges. And now to the details. A retired officer of the Department of State Services, Inioluwa Adekoya, was on remanded recently in the Kuje Correctional Center by the Federal High Court in Abuja after he was arraigned on terrorism-related charges linked to proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. Adekoya was arraigned before Justice Muhammad Umar on 4 charges bordering on allegedly supporting IPOB, joining the proscribed organization, and using social media to disseminate messages set to promote its activities. The defendant pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Following his plea, the prosecution applied for a trial date and urged the court to remand him in custody, pending the determination of the case. Justice Umar subsequently adjourned the matter until the 29th of October 2026 for the commencement of the trial and ordered that the retired DSS officer be remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center. According to the charge, prosecution alleged that between 2025 and 2026 in Abuja and Abia State, Adekoya directly and indirectly rendered support to IPOB by providing what he described as moral assistance and disseminating information in support of the proscribed organization through the internet and its social media platforms. The prosecution said the alleged offense contravened Section 13 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. In another count, the prosecution alleged that the defendant joined IPOB in Abia State within the same period, contrary to Section 25 of the Act. The DSS also accused him of knowingly aiding and abetting the group by posting messages on social media allegedly calculated to induce unsuspecting members of the public to support IPOB, an offence said to be punishable under Section 26 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. The fourth count alleged that Adekoya posted and caused to be accessed messages on social media aimed at advancing the cause of IPOB contrary to Section 18 of the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention etc. Act 2015 as amended. Counter read that you Nwagu Ichemere Adekoya, adult male, sometimes in 2025 and 2026 in Abia State, within the jurisdiction of the Honorable Court, did join indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a proscribed organization, and thereby committed an offense contrary to the punishable under Section 25 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with headline, Court remand ex-DSS officer in Kuje prison over terrorism charges. Yes, the program is still in the papers and iPower 102.7 FM. Right about now, I will go on a short break. When I get back, the phone lines will be officially open for comments and contributions, and more headlines and news in the papers will be read out to you. Yes, welcome back. Like I made mention earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. The phone lines are officially open for comments and contributions to any of the news that piques your interest. The number to call is 0816 552 4699 0816 552 4699. Let us have your contribution to any of the news or headlines that piques your interest. Like I made mention earlier, the number to call is 0816 552 4699. Yes, the phone lines are still open for comments and contributions. Like I made earlier, you can call in and throw 1 or 2 cents to the conversations making rounds today. The number to call is 0816 552 4699. And now moving to the Daily Post newspaper. Truth will surely come out. Wrong person in prison, says Simon Ekpa. And now to the details. Yes, I take that again. Truth will surely come out. Wrong person in prison, says Simon Ekpa. And now to the details. Self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, Bridge Simon Ekpa, has expressed optimism that his sentence by the Finland court would be reversed. Recent reports recall that the secessionist was on the 1st of September 2025 sentenced to 6 years in prison by a Finnish district court after being convicted of terrorism-related offences linking him to killings in southeastern part of Nigeria. However, speaking with some Biafra agitators during his appeal hearing proceedings on Thursday, Ekpa said the wrong person is being imprisoned. According to him, the truth will soon be uncovered. He said, I am very confident that the truth is going to come out. They will know that the wrong person has been imprisoned. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Truth will surely come out. Wrong person in prison, says Simon Ekpa. Yes, and now moving to Lagos State. Lagos needs 40,000 more doctors, 100 billion naira to fix health sector, says Sanwo-Olu. And now to the details. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has revealed that the state required about 40,000 additional doctors and 40,000 more nurses to adequately meet the healthcare need of its rapidly growing population, while estimating a funding gap of at least 100 billion naira in the sector. The governor also announced that more than 1.5 million residents have enrolled in state health insurance scheme Ilera Eco as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen access to affordable and sustainable health care. Sanwo-Olu made this disclosure during the opening of the second Equal Health Convention held at the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. He identified inadequate healthcare personnel and insufficient funding as the two major challenges facing the state health sector, noting that international donor support for disease control programs has continued to decline. Speaking of funding, Sanwo-Olu disclosed that the state's healthcare system requires far more resources than current budgetary allocation. Despite the challenges, the governor said the state had begun implementing measures to address the manpower shortage through large-scale recruitment, improved welfare packages, and plans to establish a University of Medical and Health Sciences. According to him, the government recently commenced recruitment across all 29 secondary healthcare facilities in the state, while also providing accommodation and better working conditions to retain existing personnel and encourage professionals abroad to return. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Lagos needs 40,000 more doctors, 100 billion naira to fix health sector, says Sanwo-Olu. Yes, and still on the Daily Post newspaper, talking of Shun government, President Tinubu has no power to direct EFCC, lawyer Maduabuchi says. And now to the details. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Oba Maduabuchi, has said that the president does not have any power under any law to control the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Maduabuchi made this assertion while responding to questions in an interview in Arise Television Prime Time, stating that it is wrong for the EFCC to be ordered by who it should chase. He said that EFCC is supposed to be the dogs that fight corruption, including corruption from the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. His remarks stem from the freezing of the Osun state government account, domiciled with First Bank just 10 days before the state governorship election by the EFCC. However, President Bola Tinubu ordered the EFCC to immediately vacate the court order that froze the Osun state government account. Reacting, the senior lawyer said, and I quote, the president does not have any power under any law to control the EFCC or any other anti-graft agency. It will be wrong if the person you are supposed to chase has the power to direct you to do it publicly. That affects confidence. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Osun government, President Tinubu has no power to direct EFCC, lawyer Maduabuchi says. Yes, so now adding to Zamfara State on the Daily Post newspaper, talking Bungudu attack will never negotiate with bandits, Zamfara government says. And now to the details. Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has reaffirmed his administration's resolve not to negotiate with or yield to criminal groups as part of efforts to tackle banditry in the state. Lawal made this pledge during a condolence visit to Bugundu local government area, where he sympathized with families and residents affected by recent bandit attack. The governor's spokesperson, Suleiman Bala Idris, disclosed details of the visit in a statement, saying that whilst first visited the palace of the Emir of Bugundu, Alhaji Azan Atairu, to commensurate with the traditional ruler and the affected community. According to the governor, the state's government remains committed to deploying all necessary resources to restore peace and improve security across Zamfara. Lawal urged residents to remain patient, describing the security situation as a sensitive challenge requiring perseverance, while assuring families of those injured and abducted that the government will continue to provide support and intensify efforts to secure the safe return of victims. He also prayed for those who lost their lives in the attack and condoled with their families. Responding, the Emir of Bugundu, Alhaji Azan Atairu, commended the governor's efforts to address insecurity, expressing confidence that banditry would eventually be overcome. The governor also visited the family of the late Alhaji Bello Umar Bugundu and other families affected by the attack to offer his condolences. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Bugundu attack will never negotiate with bandits, says Zamfara governor. Yes, so now moving to Ogun State, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Abiodun declares no safe haven for kidnappers as security forces rescue abducted Ogun students. And now to the details. The Ogun State government has recorded a major breakthrough in its fight against kidnapping with the successful rescue of 7 students at Gateway ICT Polytechnic Sapade in Remo North local government area who were abducted by suspected kidnappers earlier this week. Governor Dakwa Biodun, while addressing journalists at the governor's office, Okimoson, Abeokuta, and a company of security chiefs and some of the rescued students, reaffirmed this administrative unwavering commitment to ensuring that kidnappers and other criminal elements have no hiding place anywhere in Ogun State. The governor disclosed that the rescue was achieved through a coordinated security operation involving the Nigerian Police Force, the Armed Forces, and the Department of State Services, DSS, the Nigerian Security and the Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, the Ogun State Security Network Agency, Amotekun Corps, local vigilantes, and hunters. Governor Biodun further revealed that the operation received significant boost after the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Olatunji Disu, approved the deployment of police helicopters for aerial surveillance, a move that proved crucial to the successful rescue of the students. He added that security agencies had intensified efforts to apprehend other members of the criminal gang who remain at large. According to him, recent joint security initiatives, particularly Operation Kosai, have demonstrated the effectiveness of intelligence sharing, interagency collaboration, and sustained operational pressure against criminal elements. Governor Biodun also commended President Bola Tinubu for his administration's commitment to combating banditry terrorism, and kidnapping across the country, noting that the recent rescue of 308 abducted victims by the Nigerian security force underscores the growing effectiveness of coordinated security operations nationwide. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Abiodun declares no safe haven for kidnappers as security forces rescue abducted Ogun students. Yes, and now to the nation's newspaper. Shatima begins fast leave. Shatima begins fast leave since taking office, and now to the details. Vice President Kashim Shettima has commenced a 2-week leave is fast since assuming office on the 29th of May 2023, following the approval of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communication Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, said Shettima would use the period for study, reflection, and intellectual renewal aimed at strengthening his capacity for continued service to the nation. According to the statement, the Vice President leave, which began on Thursday, the 6th of August, will enable him to review the Tinubu's administration's ongoing program, deepen his understanding of the emerging national and global policy issues, and prepare for the next phase of implementing the renewed Hope agenda. It noted that since taking office more than 3 years ago, Shettima had remained actively involved in coordinating and supervising key government initiatives, particularly the economic development, food security, humanitarian affairs, digital transformation, job creation, and regional cooperation. The statement also highlighted his role as chairman of the National Economic Council, NEC, where he leads deliberations involving 36 governors, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, and other senior public officials on the economic and social welfare policies. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, Shettima begins fast leave since taking office. Yes, the program is still in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Our time is fast spent on the program this morning. And with that, we've come to a wrap on today's edition of In the Papers. I sincerely hope this review has kept you informed of conversations making rounds in the papers today. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Stay tuned to our Power 102.7